Hey guys, and thank you for joining me for yet another presentation. In this video, we're going to be exploring how to make Middle Eastern rice. Now, there's a wide variety of Middle Eastern rice that I like. However, I'm going to present to you the one that's most favorable for me and the one I enjoy the most. So stay tuned and enjoy. So I have 4 cups of water boiling here. To that, I'm gonna add a half a teaspoon of salt, and then to that 1 teaspoon of cooking oil, and we're gonna let that come to a rumbling boil. In the meantime, I have 2 cups of rice, which I'm gonna be washing and adding. So the water for the rice has developed a nice rolling boil, and I had washed the rice and have it set to the side here. So I'm gonna be adding that to this water right now. Yeah, and then we're gonna set a timer. So we have a 20-minute timer going for the rice, and we have the rice in here in this hot water, and it's gonna develop a boil. We're gonna leave it uncovered, and we're gonna have our fire temperature on medium-high heat. And yeah, we're gonna wait 20 minutes, and then we'll be back to strain this rice out of this water and proceed with the next step. So I'm back on my 20-minute timer for my rice. I'm going to only do my rice for 15 minutes. So right now I'm going to turn off the stove. The rice is pretty much boiled. I don't want it to be cooked all the way. It takes 20 minutes to cook rice because I do have another process it's going to be going through. So here I have a strainer in the sink, and I'm just going to be putting that rice into that strainer, and I'll let it drain off. So for the rice, I'm going to be using a half a teaspoon of garlic, half a teaspoon of ginger, half a cup of raisins, 1 medium-sized onion chopped and minced, 1 cup of frozen vegetables, half a teaspoon of onion powder, half a teaspoon of cilantro leaves, half a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of allspice, half a teaspoon of rosemary, about 2 tablespoons of chicken concentrate. First, you put 1 in the beginning and 1 closer to the end of the cooking. Some chive, dried chive. Some thyme, 1/4 teaspoon. Smoked paprika, 1/4 teaspoon. And some turmeric, 1 tablespoon. You will also need some peppers. So I'm going to be using 1/4 of a red, 1/4 of a yellow. 1/4 is just this 1 bump. So 1/4 of the yellow, 1/4 of the red, and 1/4 of the orange. So 1 bump of each. And I'm going to be slicing and dicing. So minced. I'm going to have this minced. I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. So I have here 3 tablespoons of oil in this pot. To that, the oil is already hot. To that, I'm going to be adding my onion that's been minced, my mixed vegetables, and we're going to give that a stir. So it's been 2 minutes of sauteing on its own here with the onions. There's nothing else in the pot but the onions and the mixed veg. So now is a good time to start adding other ingredients. I'm going to be adding the peppers now, and the half cup of raisins, and we're going to give that a stir as well. We're going to add some ground thyme, about 1/4 teaspoon of ground thyme, about 1/4 teaspoon of allspice, about 1/2 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, half a teaspoon of rosemary, a teaspoon of cilantro leaves, quarter teaspoon of dried chive, quarter teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of chicken base, half a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of ginger, half a teaspoon of garlic, so a tablespoon of turmeric to all of that. And then we're going to give that a mix to incorporate everything. Make sure we got everything seasoned nicely. There's a secret ingredient that goes in here, and it's going to be sugar. So I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of brown sugar in here while this is hot, and then I'll be adding my rice. So I just added my 3 tablespoons of sugar there. I'm going to give that a mix to incorporate. It's going to melt immediately because everything in here is pretty much hot. So the next step would be to start adding our rice to this. I'm going to add half of the portion of rice that I have here that's cooked to here and mix it in, and then I'll add the other half. You're also going to be turning down the heat right now to medium-low. So I just added half of the portion of my rice to this pot, and I'm going to just start incorporating all these ingredients into here. And yeah. So I mixed in the first half of the rice. So when I added the second half of the rice, I'm going to be turning the stove completely off because everything in here is cooked. This is just a matter of incorporating the flavor now. So I'm just going to stir this until it's incorporated and then take it off. So I just came back to show you what the rice looks like when it's finished. This is it up close and personal. It's taken on the color of your, you know, the turmeric is yellow. It took on that really nicely. And yeah, so this is all good and ready to go. It's piping hot because I just took it off the stove.